Aren't they beautiful? 97 motorcycles sitting here quietly, waiting for the 2024 BMW International GS Trophy here in Namibia. Hello and welcome. My name's Jocelyn Snow.
And I'm John Beck, and we're your hosts for the 2024 GS Trophy in Namibia.
And here they are, the competitors. Good morning and welcome to day one of the BMW Motorrad International GS Trophy in Namibia.
The sun has risen, the competitors are ready, and in just a few minutes, the first teams will be rolling out for what is going to be a long and challenging day. 270 kilometers, most of it off-road, 2 special stages. Stay tuned for the action.
Just a short ride from camp, the teams have already found themselves at the first special stage. It's called the Namibia Welcome Trial.
Much like observed trials, this is trials for big bikes. The teams are competing in groups, and they're deducting points for crossing borders, for dabs, for dropping a bike, and they need to complete the entire course and ring a bell in under 4 minutes.
Tricky uphill situation. We have loose rock, loose gravel, deep sand, and it's steep. Some of the team members may struggle.
For our next special of the day, we have the Akrapovic Enduro Challenge. Now it's the dry season here in Namibia. This is the country with the driest rainy season in recorded history. And for this challenge, the competitors are being thrown into this riverbed that has months of deep sand and silt deposited in it. They're gonna have to navigate a course, and they'll be penalized for crossing the borders of the course. They'll be penalized for a DNF, and they're also penalized on time. They've got 5 minutes to complete the course. The clock doesn't stop until the last rider is crossed. The finish. Like the sand, that's all around me.
Go, go, go!
Good job.
Here at Iaiba, the competitors in the BMW Motorrad GS Trophy in Namibia have completed day one of competition, and today's 270 kilometers had all the challenges you could imagine.
But it's only day one, so it's anyone's game. And the teams are super excited to find out where they stand on the leaderboard. I'm excited too.
Let's go check out the scores.
Good morning. It's day 2. We're in Iaiba in the beautiful Rongo Mountains.
We're hoping all the competitors are well rested because today they're going to face 184 kilometers, all of it being off-road, with 2 very unique special stages. Let's go check out the action. Sometimes there are those rare circumstances when you simply cannot ride your motorcycle through an obstacle, but you need to proceed. What do?
You transport the motorcycle in a creative way. This first special stage is called the Flying Boxer.
For this unique challenge, the riders are faced with a ravine. There are two 4x4s with a cable strung between them. They need to run to the upper 4x4, grab a series of ropes, run back to the bike, affix it to the bike, and fly the Boxer across the ravine. They've got 4 minutes to complete this task, and they're done when the front wheel reaches the finish block.
We're at the second special stage of the day, the Senna Rock Challenge. We have giant boulders, a thin track, and the team members have only 30 seconds to discuss their strategy.
And what strategy are they discussing? This challenge doesn't reward speed or slowness, it rewards accuracy. The first team member needs to cross the start gate, navigate a course through these boulders, complete the course, and then all the other team members need to try and match the first team member's time as closely as possible without a timer, and they only have 5 minutes to do it. Today was a long and challenging day for all the competitors. They had 2 special stages, but just getting to those stages was extremely challenging. Deep sand, hard riding, the sun is already set, and there's still some competitors out on the trail.
And those teams that have made it to the Spitzkoper camp, they're already setting up their tent. And what a beautiful backdrop.
Day 3 of the GS Trophy in Namibia has begun. Today will feature 3 special stages and potentially some of the most challenging riding of this event.
Once again, the team members will need to dig deep. And speaking of deep, we're expecting plenty of deep sand. We'll be doing a 156-kilometer loop with all of it being off-road. We'll be leaving the Spitzkoper camp, going into the Omaruru riverbed, and then back to Spitzkoper camp.
Speaking of the Omaruru riverbed, it's approximately 45 kilometers of non-stop deep sand. Let's go check out the action. Day 3, Challenge 1 of the GS Trophy in Namibia. For this special stage, the riders are not getting on their motorcycles this morning. They're hiking a short distance from camp to this beautiful spot in the rocks for the Insta 360 Challenge.
The team members are handed an Insta 360 camera, a compass, and a sheet of directions. They need to navigate through the rocks to a waypoint where they're going to take a selfie of themselves and run back to the finish. Time stops when all 3 team members cross the finish. We're at the second special stage of the day, the Camel Thorn Tree Challenge. This could do a number on a tire.
Behind me is a motorcycle with a punctured tire. For this challenge, 1 team member needs to ride a motorcycle across this sandy wash to a finish line, while the other team members run to collect a tire repair kit, and the clock doesn't stop till all team members have arrived at this finish box and the tire's repaired. As promised, we've arrived at the Omaruru River. This is going to be approximately 45 kilometers of deep sand, and the competitors have no choice but to ride through this. Now, after a long and challenging ride through the deep sand of the Omaruru River, the competitors have arrived at their 3rd special for the day, the Omaruru Metzler Challenge.
All the team members must start at the flag gate. The first team member makes their way around the course, through the flags, and back to the gate, where they have to high-five the next team member, and off they go. Time stops when all the team members are back at the flag gate. And it's a team event, so help is allowed. Let's check it out. It's been a long and challenging day. Many of the teams struggled not only in the special stages, but also in that deep riverbed sand. It's getting late, and some of the teams are still just arriving here at camp.
Yeah, and for those teams that are just arriving, and even the ones that arrived earlier, they've got to get their stuff set up, they've got to get some food in them, they've got to get a good night's sleep, because tomorrow could yet again prove to be an extremely challenging day. We're only at the midpoint of this GS Trophy, and it's still anyone's trophy. So let's go take a look at the leaderboard, see where things stand, and stay tuned for the action. So now, the competitors have been at their camp at Spitzkoppe for 2 days, and on day 4, they're waking up to a ride down towards the coast, where temperatures are going to drop, scenery is going to change, they're going to be treated to an amazing day on the bikes with 2 special stages.
We're expecting 224 kilometers today, with 220 of it being off-road. We're going to make our way through a tight slot canyon, lined with spectacular rock cliffs, till our destination in Swakopmund. The teams have arrived at the first special stage, the Advantic Pull Challenge. It's a towing exercise. One team member must tow the second team member and their motorcycle with a dead engine through the sand wash and to the finish line.
Not only is this a towing exercise, it's also a hypothetical fueling exercise. The teams need to tow the bike from the start, through the sand, to the finish, where an empty jerry can is waiting. And the clock doesn't stop until the entire team and the bikes have arrived in the finish block.
So we ride around the corner, and then all of a sudden, whoa, these incredible rock cliffs. Amazing. And then the track takes us deep into the middle of them through this narrow slot canyon. And it's just spectacular.
This is the Conn River, and here the competitors will face 65 kilometers of deep sand, rocks, challenging riding, amazing scenery, and at the end of which they'll face the second special stage of the day.
The teams have arrived at the second special stage, the Roy Tafel Trial. It's a tight technical trials course nestled within this breathtaking scenery.
As you can see behind me, the competitors have a very narrow course to navigate with a series of tight corners and obstacles. They'll lose points for dabbing, they'll lose points for crossing the border, and they'll of course lose points for dropping the bike. And the clock doesn't stop until each rider has individually completed this course and stopped in the finish box.
Only baboons in the world who've been fans of observed trials since before observed trials was invented. In fact, earlier we were discussing the original Star Trek inhabitants of this valley. This is the Conn River, as you know, and Conn River was named for the antagonist from the Star Trek films. Originally, it was actually the only place that Captain Kirk was not able to obtain from the Klingon Empire, and he eventually did for Star Wars. I think I got that incorrect, actually. The two different series, two different science fiction series. But we will correct that. Back to the baboons and the trials event.
This is Africa, and I'm wearing 4 layers.
I am as well. Welcome to Swakamun. Now let's go from layers to leaders. Let's go check out the results.
And now we come to the female riders. And leading now,
this morning's ride has been a variety of challenging terrain. Now the teams have arrived at this steep downhill. There's loose rocks, loose sand, it's very technical. The teams will have to take their time and pick their line. And now we're at the final special stage of the GS Trophy. And it's double points. So as close as the scoring is, this could really change up the leaderboard. The teams have had 6 amazing riding days together. They've learned each other's strengths and weaknesses and hopefully how to work well together as a team.
This trial involves some strategy. It's a Le Mans start, so the riders' bikes are at the start, they need to run to them, and then they're presented with a series of options for which section they want to take, and the competitors need to decide among themselves which rider is going to ride which section. Once they've completed the beginning of the trial and arrived at this wooden bridge, they complete a back half of the trial, back through a slalom, arrive at the finish, and time doesn't stop until all 3 riders have completed the course. So now this is the calm before the storm, before the final scores are announced. And honestly, for me this week, one of the highlights was simply seeing the performance of the bikes. The F900 GS, the R1300 GS, you and I were on the 1300. Just amazing bikes, fun to see in action.
Definitely, and yeah, they certainly proved to be capable. And how about on the special stage, this final special today?
Yeah, Germany's run, unbelievable. South Africa as well. I mean, dabs versus time. It's still kind of anybody's race, and the women's teams as well.
Yeah.
Super close.
Top 3 positions, only 7 seconds apart. I have no idea what we're going to see when we go in there.
Yeah, a lot can change tonight, so stay tuned for the results.
Female team, place number 1. Team International! Woo! Congratulations! Winning team for the 2024 GS Trophy in Namibia is Germany!